Talk boxing news.
What makes you better?
I'll tell you this. I didn't have all the income, the resources to
income?
go to.
Stop.
No,
Stop.
you stop.
No, you stop.
Stop.
You
Stop.
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 That's the
Stop.
bullshit.
No,
I'm
no,
sick
you-
of that
no, you
narrative.
stop.
That
No,
narrative
there
is
ain't
so
Okay,
because I've busted
okay,
my I've been
let's-
working
okay,
since I was
let's just-
15
and
years
you're
old.
talking working since I was
Saving
8
my
years old,
money
too.
up.
What you talking
Saving my
about?
money up,
Then
going to
save my money up,
hotels
listen,
and 3 or
shut
4
up,
girls. We
girl.
hustled to get to those tournaments. I'm
And
sorry
so
that you
did I
didn't.
hustle, and I hustled
So
too.
what's your point?
And so my point is, I
You
made
have
my
the money
way.
to get to the
I made
so
my
did
way.
I.
Alicia,
Yes.
is Michaela, is she underestimating you?
Absolutely.
I know. I gave you credit. I'm
Absolutely.
giving you
You're a
credit.
bot.
I'm just
She's-
asking you.
no,
You think I'm
she's
so
definitely
much
just
trash.
discrediting me.
What have you done better than me?
Girl, everything. Everything. Yep, go ahead. Breathe
Like
deep.
what?
You're gonna
Give me
need it.
examples.
I don't need to explain nothing to you. Just know that I'm gonna beat you Saturday night. That's all you gotta worry about. That's all you gotta worry about, Michaela. I'm gonna beat you and I'm gonna hurt you.
All
I'm gonna
this
break
talking,
your
you
nose.
better
Oh,
beat me after all
girl,
this
I
talking.
am. Trust.
There are so many shows happening all around the world this weekend. A show south of the border in Mexico, a show in the land down under, Australia, a Matchroom show, 2 shows.
Top Rank's doing a show down there too.
A show here stateside by way of the PBC, Deontay Wilder's big ring return. Though for my money, the premier show is the boxer show, the premier fight.
Premier fights.
It's got to be Baumgardner versus Mayer. It's got to be Shields versus Marshall. For my money, that's the premier card of a busy weekend in the world of boxing. Michaela Mayer added after the pleasantries on Sky. Not sure why. My mom was an alcoholic and my dad had full custody and raised all 3 of us girls on his own. He was a saint and did his best, but in no way did I grow up with money. An ignorant assumption to make. Either way, boxing doesn't discriminate. You've got to fight and you've got to win.
What they're both going to try to do this weekend, and it's a question of who's going to emerge the victor.
Seems like Alicia Baumgardner struck a nerve, in some ways insinuating that Michaela Mayer grew up with a silver spoon. If you're familiar with Michaela Mayer's background, you'll know that she didn't come from money.
But did Alicia really insinuate that, or did Michaela just take it that way?
It won't matter on Saturday night. Once all the pleasantries are exchanged and all the words have been minced and exchanged, it won't matter come fight night.
Won't matter.
Alicia did respond to Michaela Mayer's gripe, saying, "Never said your life was perfect. Everybody has their own challenges and obstacles. What I said was that my progress in my career faced serious financial obstacles that were different from yours."
They've both overcome all the obstacles, all the hurdles, all the issues.
Their collective drive has put them on a path that has led them both here to this point, and I don't think it's a coincidence. In any organized sport that is a sport, the top talent permeates to the top. It always does.
You and me choice somewhere in there, somewhere in the background.
I'll deal with her afterwards.
Michaela Mayer readily dismissed the notion that she's outgrown the super featherweight division, that she's struggling to make the weight, and that's why she's planning on moving up. She dismissed those claims, but you
notice how differently both women carry the weight.
remember, they both have to make 130 pounds by Friday.
Their overall build and physique. They both carry that weight quite differently, don't they? Michaela's a lot leaner than Alicia Baumgardner.
Wonder, can that thin frame really handle a flush shot upstairs, downstairs, in the breadbasket, in the body? Nobody likes it to the body.
I heard something earlier this week about Michaela Mayer saying there's been no VADA testing leading up to the fight, but
Michaela likes to say that the fight's happening because of her. Michaela Mayer likes to say that, essentially, she made this happen.
so if there's no VADA testing, why didn't you make that happen? Rather, why didn't your team? Whoever's promoting the show, the onus to do so would have been on them, not Alicia. Alicia is but a guest, the away fighter in many ways on what is a boxer show. She being a matchroom fighter. So it's not on Alicia to ensure that there was VADA testing for this thing.
That would be on Michaela Mayer's team. That would be on Ben Shalom, the people at Boxer.
It's quite noticeable, the physiques of both the fighters and how differently they carry the weight. Remember, they both have to make 130 pounds.
But Alicia's noticeably bigger, and it's not because she's in camp.
It's not because she's lifting weights and bulking. She's just built that way. She always has been.
In spite of her musculature, she still retains a lot of mobility and movement, range of motion, and speed.
I think she bends at the knees a little bit more than Michaela, bends at the waist, angles that torso off more than Michaela. Michaela's an excellent boxer, don't get me wrong, but it is noticeable how differently they carry the weight. Michaela is a lot thinner, and I wonder if she can take a flush shot from very strong, very muscular Alicia Baumgardner. This Saturday, we're going to find out.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you can imagine 2 women that hate each other more than Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall
it would have to be these two. It would have to be Mikaela Mayer and Alicia Baumgardner. I don't get the sense they're going to be bosom buddies after all this is over. Sometimes fighters bond after they share the ring with each other. Squared circle. Not these two.
They're not gonna go skinny dipping in Crystal Lake anytime soon.
There's a lot of bad blood there, and this fight has the potential to steal the show.
There's gotta be a winner. There's gotta be a loser. And I do shudder to think how the loser of this match is gonna feel. There's so much on the line. More importantly, this is personal.
Things are gonna get crazy. In men's super lightweight news, we know that Jose Pedraza is set to beat Teofimo Lopez's opponent, but this article reveals that he was chosen not only over Arnold Barboza, but over Spain's own Sandor Martin as well.
Sandor, who quite famously upset the apple cart for Mikey Gersha.
Teofimo Lopez will box an opponent who hasn't won either of his last two fights when he returns to the ring December 10th. BoxingScene.com has confirmed that Bob Arum's Top Rank is in the process of finalizing a deal for the former lightweight champion to oppose Jose Pedraza in a main event ESPN will televise that night from Madison Square Garden in New York. Lopez will make his second appearance as a full-fledged junior welterweight when he faces Pedraza in a 12-round, 140-pound bout. ESPN.com's Mike Coppinger first reported Tuesday that the Lopez-Pedraza deal is near completion, and it seems that he effectively swerved Arnold Barboza and Sandor Martin in the process of finalizing this deal.
People are gonna start throwing around the duck word.
It's what they're gonna say. BoxingScene.com has learned that Spain's own Sandor Martin was the other finalist considered as a potential opponent for Lopez's upcoming fight. Martin, 40 wins, 2 losses with 13 knockouts, then an unknown underdog, upset former 4th-division champion Mikey Garcia by unanimous decision in their 12-rounder last October 16th.
He didn't just beat Mikey Garcia. He retired Mikey Garcia. Mikey has called it a career off that loss. Who knows if he's going to come back? If he doesn't,
Sandor Martin retired him. More recently, the 29-year-old Martin outpointed Mexican veteran Jose Felix by unanimous decision in a 10-rounder April 1st in Barcelona earlier this year.
Sandor Martin would have been a more interesting choice than Jose Pedraza, yet another guy who moved up from lightweight.
But like I said in my previous video, it seems like Teofimo Lopez is still battling demons, trying to ease himself back into activity and ease himself into this division. Rick Mirrigian wasn't none too pleased to hear this news, taking to his social media saying he being Teofimo Lopez, is already ranked number 1 in the WBO at 140 pounds. Lopez is a straight fraud. Passed Barboza twice. First fighting a journeyman and now a veteran coming off a draw with 4 losses. My God, how ESPN funds this madness is insanity. He calls out the top guys and they're all my guys and he fights none. Right behind Teofimo Lopez at number 2 is Australia's own Liam Barrow, who's going to be in action this weekend against Jock Bravas as part of a Matchroom show. If he wins, he'll likely retain that number 2 spot.
Ranked behind Liam Barrow is Jose Ramirez, who took the rest of the year off because he's supposed to be getting married.
Ranked behind Jose at number 4 is Arnold Barboza, who Teofimo has effectively swerved. For whatever reason, he doesn't want to give that
He doesn't want to give Arnold Barboza the time of day. Ranked behind Arnold is Jack Catterall, who's supposed to be fighting Josh Taylor for the second time.
And because Teofimo's already ranked at number 1 after just one fight at 140 pounds, the winner of Tosh Jailer versus Jack Casserole,
They might have to fight him. They might have to fight Teofimo Lopez. To that, Rick Mirrigian added,
how does ESPN approve Lopez to fight a guy that's not had a win in 2 fights but calls out everyone as a main event at MSG? Mind-blowing how a guy that blasts Top Rank and its president and says the most god-awful things about them publicly is allowed to fight opponents like this.
You get the sense Rick Mirrigian really wanted his guy Arnold to get that Teofimo Lopez fight.
I think the most they can do for Arnold now is match him against Richard Comey in the mean in-between time. What would serve as a common opponent between him and young Teofimo Lopez. Maybe they stick that on the undercard to build a fight between them.
Yeah, maybe they do that, and maybe Teofimo swerves him again.
You gotta remember, he's ranked at number 1 by way of the WBO. He's already in line for the winner of Tosh Jailer versus Jack Cataract.
Tosh Jailer, who very recently parted ways with his trainer, Ben Davison.
I remember he used to be with Shane McGuigan. Shane's a really good trainer. For what it's worth, Ben's got his virtues as well, but Josh Taylor decided to go with Joe McNally, and he announced it via his social media saying, "It's a pleasure to officially announce that I've teamed up with and going to be working with Joe McNally moving forward. I'm excited for this new chapter in my career and producing more great nights ahead." And what's ahead of him is a rematch with Jack Casserole.
So after just one fight, one piss-poor showing, he sacks Ben Davison. Is that the right decision?
Well, that's what Tyson Fury did after that scare he suffered at the hands of Otto Wallin. Those of you will remember that was his last fight with Ben Davison. After that, he enlisted the aid of Sugar Hill Stewart, and he's been with Sugar Hill ever since.
Do you think that'll make all the difference for Josh Taylor, having Joe McNally in his corner instead of Ben Davison?
Look, it might. Before Josh Taylor even made that announcement, I told you, I think Jack Catterall just happened to catch Josh at an opportune time. For the most part, Josh Taylor's dominance over this division has been consistent. That's the one inconsistency I've seen in this guy's career. And I'm not the kind of guy that says we got to throw the whole fighter away based on one fight. I happen to think Josh Taylor still is a great fighter. I think he's going to beat Jack Catterall in that rematch.
But here's the interesting part. Say he doesn't. Say it happens the other way, Jack wins.
Teofimo might have to get his passport out and have the fight in the UK, because don't forget, the winner of the fight will be the champion, whether it's Jack or Josh, and Teofimo is but a challenger. He doesn't represent such a big financial...
I don't get the sense he's the A-side to the winner of this fight, whether the winner is Josh Taylor or Jack Catterall.
Skilled fighter and accomplished young man that Teofimo Lopez might be. He's not some huge ticket seller here in America to where the winner of this fight has to come over here to do it. He might have to go over there. For what it's worth, I think Catterall versus Lopez or Taylor versus Lopez might sell more tickets across the pond than it would here.
It might, and Teofimo's in no position to start acting like Mr. Big in the Britches again. You're no champion. At 140, you're just a challenger.
And you had to swerve two very formidable fighters at 140 pounds to become the challenger.
Bob might decide to send Teofimo to the UK. He might.
He's sending Artur Better Beef to the UK early next year. His unified light heavyweight champion, the unbeaten one.
Teofimo ain't too good that he shouldn't have to go to the UK for that fight. It might actually be worth more money in the UK than the fight is worth here.
Who knows either Jack Catterall or Josh Taylor all that well here in America?
Are they big ticket sellers here? Because Teofimo ain't.
Somebody's going to have to sell this fight. Somebody's going to have to sell those tickets. Might be easier to sell tickets for that fight in the UK as opposed to the US. Just some insights on what might happen when the outcome of not only Teofimo's next fight is determined, but Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall's rematch as well.
You have to wonder that Teofimo Lopez shouldn't have chosen to box Sandor Martin, because Sandor's a southpaw.
You know who else is a southpaw? Josh Taylor. He's a southpaw. You know who else is a southpaw?
Is another southpaw?
It is another southpaw. Jack Cataract. He's a southpaw as well. The way this all breaks down, whether Jack wins or Josh wins, young Teofimo could be opposite the ring, a southpaw. And Sandor Martin, he's a southpaw, a crafty one, a skilled one, though not a very big puncher.
It's a manageable situation, somewhat manageable. I get the sense that Sandor Martin would make Teofimo Lopez work for his money.
Teofimo and his team certainly didn't land on Jose Pedraza because they were looking for the best experience fight out there, the best experience at 140 pounds. Jose used to campaign as low as 130 pounds, and here today, he hasn't won a fight in a while.
Jose Pedraza ain't won a fight since June of last year. He's coming off of one defeat, one draw.
A defeat to former unified champion Jose Ramirez and a draw with former lightweight champion Richard Comey. Now, Teofimo couldn't have landed on Jose Pedraza because he was looking for the best experience fight at 140 pounds. No. Jose's an orthodox fighter. He's hardly preparation for either Jack Catterall or Josh Taylor. Sandor Martin would have been a better choice in that department. The only virtue of facing Jose Pedraza is that he is a Puerto Rican national, and there is a large concentration of Puerto Ricans in the tri-state area over there in New York City. That's the only real virtue, selling tickets or trying to. But as far as experience and preparation for the winner of Taylor versus Catterall, you won't get that fight in Jose.
You won't.
There is a lot of truth in what Rick Mirrigian, Arnold Barboza, and Jose Ramirez's handler had to say about it. That Teofimo has quite openly blasted Top Rank and Bob Arum. He's made some bad business decisions. Everything that he suffered last year was a self-inflicted wound. You never had to spend that much time on a George Kambosos Jr. fight. You never had to do that, but because you did, you lost a lot of time on that. You stayed at lightweight a little bit too long.
You were drained the night of the fight. You were sick the night of the fight.
You know what Teofimo Lopez tried to do? He tried to skate uphill. He tried to go against the grain, swim against the current. Had he let Top Rank handle the situation, pay for the Kambosos fight at the price...
You know, they tried to tell the kid, it's not a big fight, so you can't get a big purse for it. Just get it out of the way. They'll set you up with something bigger later on.
He didn't want to listen to them. He didn't want to do that. He felt entitled. He quickly became Mr. Big in the Britches, and it costed him. Essentially, he made poor business decisions then. Is he still making them now? Because Sandor Martin would be more adequate preparation for a crafty southpaw.
You know, I don't even want to say that it's Teofimo making all of these decisions because he's got a lot of people around him. He's got his big mouth father, David Water.
Those two fucking geniuses, you kind of get the sense that they're the ones making all the business decisions, and Teofimo, he just goes along with whatever they say.
In any event, it might have been a poor decision to go with Jose Pedraza instead of Sandor Martin.
They're both crafty boxers, Jose Pedraza and Sandor Martin, but Sandor is more adequate preparation for a crafty southpaw that has some mobility, and both Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, they have that. They have that in common.
This is yet another situation to where we're going to see how the decision ages. Was it the right decision?
Or the wrong one. I can forgive swerving Arnold Barboza for somebody like Sandor Martin. Not everybody can get what they want when they want it. If Teofimo Lopez has bigger fish to fry, I could have understood circumventing Arnold for Sandor, but you're not fighting either of them.
It's not like Sandor's some nobody. Sandor's the guy who beat Mikey Garcia. Sandor's the guy who retired Mikey Garcia in one of the bigger upsets in recent memory.
Almost as big as George Kambosos upsetting you.
I don't know. We'll see how this plays out.